Ron Harris here from MuscularLimit.com. Coverage of the 2022 Mr. Olympia brought to you by High Tech Pharmaceuticals. Just wrapped up judging. I'm here with Giles Tiger Thomas, Jose Ramy, the Boston Mass. Real quick, we'll tell you, Sean Clarita got his Olympia title back. Congratulations, Sean Clarita. Second place. Congratulations, Angel Calderon Frias from Spain. And Kamal Eldon.
I called it.
Yeah, you called it. But we're going to move right into the Mr. Olympia because it's very, very late, and that's what most of you guys want to hear about is the Mr. Olympia. This seems like a big, big shakeup. The two-time reigning and defending champ, Ramy, Big Ramy, it does not look like he is keeping his title. Man, I think he might be as low as 5th place based on the call-out. So, Giles, remind us again, who was in that first call-out?
Samson, which I was absolutely overjoyed with. Hadi, Derek, Brandon Curry, Ramy. Nick, of course, Nick Walker.
Okay, so Jose, who really jumped out at you? A lot of people are looking at Derek and Hadi. Were those the two guys that really caught your attention?
100%. Like, Hadi came out, and at first it was like, he's a little off. He's bigger than normal, but he's a little off. And then Derek came out, and I was like, what the hell is that? He was amazing. And nobody else looked like that. They were bigger. There were a few bigger. And then, obviously, as the comparison started, Derek was a clear front runner, and Hadi got tighter and got better. And all those attributes that we give to Hadi came to life. You know, that midsection, and he was bigger than he's ever been. So, in my eyes, clearly Hadi is winning.
Wow.
Winning. You're surprised at that?
Well, you have Derek winning, I think.
No, I've got, Derek or Nick. Derek or Nick winning.
Oh, my goodness.
And
Nick
Hadi are my top 3.
I'm going to get you some glasses. Hadi was right in the middle. He's the biggest. He's the hardest. He's the biggest, hardest, most balanced. Hadi's winning the show. And Derek is a close second, but I think they started leaning towards Brandon towards the end of that.
So
Yes.
Yeah, well, so, like we were saying, Brandon was coming back bigger. We're hoping he was going to be more conditioned than we've been seeing him lately. And from the front, he looked pretty damn great, but he turned around a little bit squishy.
Brandon Curry, like I said, I saw the video the other day from Abdullah. He was obviously a lot bigger. When he came out, I was like, wow. Front and side, I was really impressed. When he turned to the back, I was like, oh, he looks 4 weeks out from the back. And I don't think he can tighten up enough in one day to even get close to the top 3. I'm sorry. I think we're looking maybe 4th or 5th for Brandon. So like I said, my top 3: Derek, Nick, Hadi. Do you want to talk about Ramy?
Yeah, we'll get to him in a second. Yeah, let's get to Ramy because, he was here working with Dennis James again, Chad Nichols. It seemed like the formula was in place again. All they had to do was repeat what they've done the last couple of years, and it should have been good enough to hold on to a Mr. Olympia title, but obviously it wasn't.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who he's training with, who's doing his nutrition. That's not the issue. He was in shape. His glutes were peeled. He's got injuries. There's something wrong with him. His back is gone. His triceps are gone. And for some reason, his midsection was washed out a little bit. When you're that big and have hips that wide, normally he can get away with it because he's so wide. His back is big. He can't get away with it anymore. He has no more lats. I think it's an injury. And for some reason, his arms are down as well. It just was not a good look. So much so that he had people 100 pounds smaller than him or close to it beating him handily. Like Derek, theoretically should never beat Hadi. Right. He smoked him. Hadi smoked him. It's sad because I hate to see that because there's something wrong. He couldn't open up his back in the rear double. It just, everything was not looking correct.
Yeah.
So I feel really bad for him, and he's where he belongs, which is on the outside, fifth place.
Can I ask you something, Jose? If this was Ramy's first Olympia, would he have been first call-out?
Yeah, because he's still gigantic. And when he's just standing there, and when he first walked out, he looks unbelievable. He's in shape. Yeah. The legs are huge. The shoulders are huge. So he's still an impressive guy. That said, I do have Samson beating him.
Yeah.
I do have Nick beating him. I do have Derek beating him. I do have Hadi beating him. And I do have Brandon beating him. So that puts him in 6th.
Wow.
And that's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah.
But that's how I see it.
Yeah, I mean, it was usually when a defending Mr. Olympia, even if he's off, you rarely see them knocked any further down than 2nd or 3rd. But he was put right on the end. They never moved him in the center, not once. And you could see on his face, he knew it was over. I don't know if he had given up, but he was so crestfallen. You could see, it's not my show anymore.
I think to a judge like Steve, I think he did a similar thing to Eduardo. There was some visible injuries that are not recoverable, and he basically put him last.
Yeah.
And that's what he did with Ramy. You know, he had the respect to have him in that call out, but how visible those injuries were and how obvious they were, he put him at the end of that call out.
Yeah. Now, Bonak, that was somebody we were talking about. He was bigger than ever. People were saying maybe he could be as high as 2nd this year, 3rd, something like that, but didn't make first call out. What were your impressions on Bonak?
He looked kind of like he didn't look at the Arnold Classic, because the Arnold Classic we were like, 5 weeks working with Chad, he looks incredible, he's full of, and then he kind of came how he would have looked if he hadn't done the Arnold.
Yeah.
I kind of how he looked how I would have expected him to look if he hadn't done the Arnold.
Yeah.
So yeah, he looked pretty disappointed when he walked out as well. I kind of smiled at him and he looked devastated, you know. So he is out of the top 6. But going back to Ramy, it's not like he can pull that round in one day, because he can't fill out the lower lats, he can't fill out the triceps, he can't fill out those inner calves, because you didn't notice the inner calves.
No,
They're completely eaten away now.
Wow.
You know, the gastrocnemia is completely gone.
Jeez.
So that's gone as well. Jose mentioned the waistline. I didn't really notice too much about the waistline. I was too busy looking at the arms looking downsized. I think he looked closer to 280.
Yeah.
I heard a rumor that he was 126 kilo, and I didn't believe it before the show. I was like, no, he wouldn't be that. You know, he looked huge. He's not going to be lower than 290, 295, maybe, you know, maybe close to 300. But he was. I think he looked about 280 up there. But yeah, so I mean, how low will they take him though? I mean, will they take him to 2nd, 3rd, or will they put him where he deserves, which really is 5th or 6th?
I can't see him moving up that high, but who knows?
No, there's no way he's in 3rd. He was on the outside. I mean, it's clear.
Nick Walker, bigger than last year. Was he better?
I don't know. Was he bigger? I mean,
He did look bigger to me, for sure.
yeah, you know what?
He was already so big, it's hard to tell. But yeah, I thought he put on a little bit of mass.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell because of who was next to him. You know, now you have shape guys with Hadi and Derek, and it made his midsection stand out a lot more. Even though he's got it under control, he's got great abs. He posed well. He was in shape. He just looked blocky next to those guys.
Right.
And then even Samson has a real pretty taper, tight waist. It was just who he was standing next to.
Yeah.
You know, Brandon. All those guys have small waists.
Yeah. Did you expect him to move up from last year or when you saw
Nick
him?
Walker?
Nick Walker.
I think he looks fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a front runner. He's maybe 3rd, 4th.
Yeah.
But I was impressed. I was impressed by how much size he put on. I don't know whether he was quite as sharp as last year. I mean, I wasn't here last year. I only saw like the videos and stuff. But you know, I'm not sure he was quite as, you know, like sort of sharp as last year. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. So, all right. Oh shit. We're gonna pause here. All right. So Hunter Labrada. I thought, yeah, that's shit happens when you're live. I thought Hunter Labrada looked way better than he did last year, but he's not. I don't think he's gonna place anywhere near as well as he did last year.
No, I don't think so. I actually personally have Andrew Jack ahead of him.
Really?
Me and Fuad have a bet. Said I'll shave my head if Hunter beats.
Oh, don't do that.
If Hunter beats Andrew.
Oh no.
I had Andrew beating him.
I like the hair back though.
Yeah,
Don't
thank
do
you.
it. For what? No.
No, I really like Andrew, even though he doesn't have the crazy hamstrings and glutes. Everything else is superior.
Yeah.
I thought he was awesome.
So talk about Andrew Jack for a second. We're all waiting to see him. Condition still wasn't phenomenal at all. I mean, I don't think he was any leaner again than the 2 shows he's been this year. But was it good enough? Basically, just because he's got that crazy size, shape, and structure.
Yes, it was good enough to be where he's ending up.
Yeah.
He's beat a lot of good guys.
Yeah. So this was the first time you've seen Andrew in person. What were your impressions?
Well, I'm called an Andrew Jack hater, but I thought he was absolutely amazing. I was absolutely blown away. I didn't realize how big he was. I love his shape. For me, I'll stick with what I've said. In the last few months, I think he needs another couple of years, maybe another year to 2 years. And I know he's already winning shows, but I think in another couple of years, I think he's really going to be in conversation for being a potential Mr. Olympia. But like I said, there's a few things he needs to address, like the conditioning and the hamstrings, and but I mean, top to toe, he's actually probably the most impressive when you scan the lineup. I think him and Samson, for their height and size and aesthetics, I think really, kind of draw the eye the most.
Yeah. Anybody that wasn't in first call out that you think could pull it together in like the confirmation round and sneak their way in?
Not really. Maybe Raphael.
Okay.
He's a little smaller, but what a beautiful physique. He stood out in the lineup that he was in.
Yeah.
He just is so pretty.
Yes.
You could move him up, but I don't think they're going to.
Anybody, I'll ask you the same question. Either that or anybody that you kind of think, I thought this guy was going to be in first call out, didn't make it, he blew it. No?
Not really. It was pretty much as we expected. But I tell you who did impress me was Patrick Johnson. I didn't expect him to look as big as he did based upon what I saw only a few months ago. I know he's soft from the back, but I was really impressed with what he brought tonight.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Anybody else you want to talk about?
No, it was an unbelievable show. And even the guys that were in the last call out, like Andrea Presti, was in shape.
Yeah.
He was big, he was wide.
Yeah.
This was a hell of a lineup. That last call out was great.
Yep.
We've been saying for months now, there are going to be guys in this show last call out that look awesome.
Yeah.
And sure enough.
Theo looked fantastic. Theo Lagedia looked amazing. And I mean, he looked really dejected. I thought Vlad looked good. Vlad Sirotko, he looked really good.
Yeah.
He was like fourth call out, What about Blessing?
Blessing, I think Blessing still needs work on his legs. That condition wasn't quite where it needed to be. I thought the call out was what he deserved based on how he looked. The fourth call out, yeah.
Yeah, and his left leg in particular looked like considerably smaller, and he was posing to hide it. You notice he kept putting it like this. He was doing the side tricep like that. Every shot he did was from this side. His left leg is considerably smaller. Something's going on with him, and his condition wasn't there either. His upper body's outstanding.
Yeah.
His back, his arms, small waist.
I think he looked better at the Indy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, earlier in the year.
In New York.
Yeah, and Indy.
Yeah. I don't think he was able to hold on to all that condition for it was another like 5 months after that, 6 months. It's been a long year for a lot of these
I'll
guys.
tell you who did impress me was Charles Griffin. I thought he
yes.
I thought he really brought it.
Yes, that is the one guy I think could sneak in higher than expected.
He was in shape.
Third call out, I
Every
think. Right?
lineup he was in, I'm like, my eyes are drawn to him. His waist was tiny, his posing was awesome, his condition was awesome. I didn't notice that his legs were like smaller or I didn't notice the normal things that people say about him. I thought his balance was great. He was awesome. His condition, his posing, muscularity, everything was awesome.
Yeah. But like I said, tough show, a ton of great guys. Some people are going to get third, fourth call out that look great, and that's exactly the way it went down. I want to thank everyone who's watching this live on the East Coast of the U.S. It's 3:36 a.m. Yeah, all three of you. Anybody over in Europe, God bless you for being up at this hour. And man, it's been a long day and night. It's going to continue tomorrow. We have judging in the morning for classic physique and a few more divisions: men's physique, bikini, wheelchair. And tomorrow night we're back for the finals on this, as well as finals for classic physique Olympia. So keep it right here, musculardevelopment.com and the Muscular Development YouTube channel. We'll be back with more coverage. Plenty of videos to check out on this YouTube channel. Coverage again brought to you by High Tech Pharmaceuticals. It's going to be a wrap because it's so late, guys. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow or today.